Hi, this is Tony.
And this is Pam.
And welcome to Back to Basics Weight Loss Surgery channel. It is Sunday, and we're your Sunday vloggers.
It's Hoodie Sunday.
It's Hoodie Sunday.
It's cold in our basement.
So anyway,
oh my God!
This week we're talking about childhood obesity. The question is, did you struggle from childhood obesity? If so, explain. If not, explain what changed in your adult years that had an effect on your weight. Do you have overweight children or siblings? Does your weight loss surgery help with childhood obese children or family members now that you're leading a different lifestyle? So, yeah, childhood obesity. Of course, it's a big topic now with it being featured on Biggest Loser. And so, yeah, you want to go first since I read the question?
I guess so.
Okay, you go first.
Was I obese as a child? I was very active as a child. My father was diagnosed with diabetes when I was 4 years old. So my mom started cooking differently around then. I never had Jell-O with sugar in it till I was an adult. We always had sugar-free stuff. My mom watched what my dad ate. My mom locked us outside to play, so we were always very active. I played softball as a child. I played sports in school. I was on the volleyball team. I was on the basketball team. I was a Girl Scout, so I always went out and we did hikes and we did things like that, so I was active. Yes, my mother was a sugar addict and lived on Pepsi-Cola. So that was around the age I learned to use food as a coping mechanism. So I put on pounds, but I wasn't considered obese. My weight loss problems started around I went through puberty at 10. So I think around then is when I started packing on some pounds, but it really started packing on when I had my first female surgery at 15. I have a very long scar from like right under my belly button down. I was cut. I had one of my first ovary, my right ovary and fallopian tube were removed. I couldn't do any activity for, I think it was 9 weeks. I didn't even go to school for 9 weeks. And then I think I couldn't participate in gym class for 3 months after that. So that is when the emotional eating really started. And the pounds started packing on. So that's when it really started for me. Mix all that together and, high school, a girl, out of the school for all this time. What do high school kids think of? She had a baby and came back. So I had to deal with all that too. And the pounds really started packing on. About, is my family overweight? Yes. One of my oldest brothers is probably around 500 and something pounds. He's been larger than that. He also is at end stage renal failure. He has dialysis 3 times a week. My oldest brother has heart problems. He's also overweight. My sister used to be overweight, and I think it was right around the time I had my lap band surgery is when she started taking care of her health. It was around the time of her first grandchild being born, and she really saw that she needed to do something because she was about to go down the same road as our parents did. As I said, my dad was diagnosed with diabetes when I was a small child. My mom was significantly overweight. She started packing on the pounds. She was always thin up until she started packing it on after I was born. And my dad was working 2 jobs. She was raising kids. I have a very large family, taking care of grandkids. But my mom was a semi-pro bowler when I was younger, so she was always active. She played softball. She played football outside with my brothers. She did a lot of stuff, so she was actively overweight. And she really didn't start packing on the pounds until she had to have knee replacement surgery, and that prevented her from being so active. My dad was always overweight. My grandparents both had diabetes also, my father's parents, so they were overweight. It's always been a vicious cycle in my family. There are more overweight people in my family than there are people of normal weight. Somebody's always on a diet in my family. There's multiple people with diabetes. A few of my nieces and my cousins got their diabetes while they were pregnant. They got gestational diabetes. A few of them were cured after the baby was born, but a few of them still had to take insulin afterwards. So as you can see, it was a family cycle in our house. So there was never really any education to be healthy. It was just what we knew. So that's where my saga started. Where did your saga start, honey?
I was a chubby kid. I mean, I remember shopping at Sears with my parents, and
we're in the husky section.
We were in the husky section, wearing huskies. So I was a chubby kid, and been chubby all my life. My parents were both overweight. I have 3 half siblings. My brother has always been my older brother has always been overweight. My younger brother is probably the only lean one, but I didn't really know him until later. My sister's always been heavy. So my siblings have almost all been heavy. My brother also at this time is in the 400 range, 500 range, somewhere around there. And my sister, I'm not sure how much she weighs, but she's been struggling with weight too, so as an adult. And like I said, for me, it's always been an issue. In high school, I was active. That's the thing. I was an active fat kid. I skied all the time during the winter. Always riding my bike, always skateboarding, running around, played football a little bit. I went to private school from kindergarten through 6th grade, and it was mandatory to play sports after school. So I played tennis and football and lacrosse and all sorts of stuff but I was still fat. And then in high school, like I said, I was fat then too. So it was always an issue for me. It's not that I wasn't active, but just the food choices were poor. My family also has a history of diabetes. Almost everybody in my family has died from heart condition or diabetes. Oh. So my parents also are diabetic, although my dad is the king of sweets, so you would never know, but they're not.
He has diabetes.
Well, yeah, he's on metformin.
Look at me. I'm on the Mason stuff too.
But he doesn't. He regulates it with metformin. So my mom is sometimes on insulin, sometimes not, but she's in a nursing home now.
So they pretty much regulate things.
Yeah, they regulate it for her. But yeah, my parents never seriously adjusted their diet. They just took more medicine, basically. Right. Yeah. And my childhood was full of fast fast food, fried foods. You know, my mom had a chock full of nuts coffee tin in the middle of the set with grease in it. You know, she had one for fish grease and then one for everything else.
Mm-hmm.
How many of us live that? So yeah, I mean, you know, healthy food, not even a thought. So I do have kids now, so we are actively trying to change that.
We call it going on an adventure.
Right. You know, we try to keep them active. Two of my kids are actually pretty thin anyway, so
it's our little one.
It's not so much an issue. But my youngest does, you know, he likes snacks, he likes bread, he likes pasta.
Snacks are yummy in your tummy.
Yeah, he likes carbs, and
he
just
is addicted to carbohydrates.
Trying to get him off of those carbs is.
I got him
difficult.
to try a blueberry yesterday.
Yeah.
Chalk one for us.
But it's been a challenge, and so.
He did eat a strawberry the other day, too.
Yes, right. He did eat a strawberry.
He called it a mushroom.
Whatever.
He ate it.
In Sonic, I think the strawberries look like mushrooms.
Okay, well, he ate it. That's all that mattered.
So anyway, so to offset that, you know, we do try to do active things, keep him active, keep the kids active, make better choices for health. As far as my weight loss surgery and my family, I don't know if it's necessarily been an example. You know, everybody is impressed with the weight loss and all that kind of stuff, and I'm keeping it off. I have encouraged and had a number of conversations with my brother about it. His best friend also had weight loss surgery and has done quite well. So some key people in his life have had it, and as we all know, it's a decision you have to make for yourself. So you can't force it upon anyone, of course not. But hopefully, I think that it would be worth his while to look into, and you know, would be glad to help him through that journey. As much as I can. He lives on the East Coast, so we're a considerable distance away. But right now, my focus is on the kids and making sure that they
stay active.
Yeah, they stay active, and we try to make some better food choices. You know, it can be difficult, but we try to.
It's difficult once they're used to certain foods to take those foods away. As you know yourself, when you had surgery, about going cold turkey off of stuff isn't easy. So gradually we're trying to make changes to help them to make the better choices. I think what our problem is overall as parents is what they get fed in school. We had a great conversation with Miles yesterday, who is the oldest, about they do have two lines at school in the cafeteria, the healthy line and the not so healthy line.
Sort of healthy.
It's sort of healthy.
Yeah.
You know, it's the USDA version of healthy. You know, after all, if anybody ever watched Jamie Oliver's Food Revolution, you know that they've decided that French fries are a vegetable. That's something we need to fight against. That's
pizza is too.
Pizza is too because of the sauce on it. And that's something we have to fight as a whole, not just especially the weight loss surgery community. I think we can be better advocates because so many of us grew up at an unhealthy weight and had to deal with our formative years being surrounded with being overweight children and the effects that it has on us both physically, emotionally, mentally, to see how it is that things need to change in our schools and what they're feeding our children, and just learning more about what they put in foods that can affect our children's growth, affect our children's learning, their cognitive abilities in school can be severely affected by food additives. That, that's something we have to fight against. We have to fight for change, and who better to fight for that change than people who have lived through it and are now on the other side of it, eating healthier and changing the effects of those bad foods on ourselves. So, education is the key. Seriously. They're not teaching our kids in school anymore. I don't even know if they offer health anymore as an option.
They do, but it's not.
They're not talking about food and nutrition and
not all the time.
What it does
no.
to your body. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So it has to start at home.
Yep.
As simple as that.
All right. Well, that's about all we have to say about that.
Yeah.
And we will be back next week, and I think the topic is still being decided for tomorrow.
The topic is still being decided.
So
it's going to be a good one, though.
Well, I'll find out what it is tomorrow.
Stay tuned for Julie's video tomorrow, and you'll learn what the topic is then.
All right.
Until then, see ya.